Hello and welcome to the Holy Grail of Poker. This is a tutorial video on managed players. So we're going to speak about creating players, changing their stats, and understanding what those stats are. So you can see as we go from table to table, the players show up over here. I can change those players here, and I can even go in and change these statistics right here. And if I want to see what these stats are, I can mouse over them, or I can double click on a player. Let's say I want to change Nutso. I can double click on Nutso and see his statistics and change them here, or I can click on Manage Players and go there as well. Let me start by showing you what one of our best players looks like, and it's awful simple because you just select Best AI, and here's an example of that. At this table, they're all our best artificial intelligence for pre-flop and post-flop, and so you see not applicable all throughout all the stats. And the reason for that is these players are not set up to play a defined strategy. They're going to adjust to your style, and so if you are raising them a whole lot more, well, they'll defend and raise back more. If you're folding to steal attempts too much, they'll try to steal more often against you. They'll also play based on the relevant stack size. So Bill here will play a tighter game than Donkey will against you, with you having 1,500 and Donkey having 2,000 and Bill having 250. They'll play quite differently, and to optimize their situation. So if I want to, so let's create a new directory. There's 3 directories here of different types of players, and I'm going to create a new one here. New directory. I'm going to call it new directory. Well, let me rename that to get the Y in there. And then I'm going to add a player for that directory, and we'll call this person Paul, and we'll save it. And so there's our new player. And Paul is, well, let me give myself a different, get this X right. So there's the best AI. Now if I want to instead specify how this person's going to play, maybe I want to get used to playing against crazy people. And so I can say, I'm going to have this person raise 25% of the time pre-flop. And so right here is what we suggest is ideal for someone playing 6 max, raising 18% of the time and voluntarily putting money in the pot 26% of the time. That's probably a little high. I should probably make that a little tighter than that for ideal. And so this is all set up for 6 max, that is playing against 6 players. And then the program will infer that if he's going to raise 18% of the time playing 6 max, he's going to raise less frequently in full ring, but the computer infers that. You don't have to do that. You just enter statistics for 6 max and it'll adjust for full ring. So we're going to make him raise 23% of the time pre-flop and play 40% of his hands, put money in the pot 41% of the time, and then let's talk for a second about what steal percent is. So I saved that, and steal percent is when you are on the button or on the cutoff and you have an opportunity to steal the blinds. What percent of the time do you do that? And you should be 35-40% of the time. And let me show you what those positions are in case you didn't know, or cutoff and button didn't mean anything to you. So G Money was on the button there. He just had Queen 4 offsuit, and so he decided not to steal, and Blur decided not to steal as well. That's the cutoff position, one off the dealer button, and that's the dealer. So he had an opportunity to raise and steal the big blind and the small blind, but he chose not to. And this may be bothering you. I had it set up to see all cards. So I wanted to show you those positions. So let's go back to Manage Players to Paul, and we're going to make him a crazy player. So a crazy player is going to steal a larger portion of the time. And this statistic, big blind fold to steal attempt. You want to fold most of the time to a steal attempt. And that may surprise people because they know that the person doesn't have such a great hand when they're stealing. But the problem with calling in the big blind is you're going to play a hand with a less than ideal, with not that much strength, out of position against someone, and that's not a good way to play poker. You're better off folding most of those weak hands, and something like 80% is a good number. So this guy, if he's wild, he's going to fold. He's going to defend his blind too much, and so we'll set him up like that. So, and now he's still playing the best post flop, and when he plays post flop right now, if we leave him like this, he will assume that his opponents think that he plays this way pre-flop, and he will use that to his advantage post-flop. He'll make the best of the fact that he has this reputation for playing like this. And so if we want to instead specify his post-flop behavior, we can do that by selecting that. And as a result, post-flop he will act faster than if we have him playing best AI, because best AI, each decision will take 1 to 2 seconds. So if we want to play really fast, then we may need to select this, which is, if you set it up to be, it's still pretty good artificial intelligence, but not near as good as best AI, which is simulating the handout 500, 600 times, and usually choosing the action with the highest expected value, or making his decisions based on that. So we are making him crazy, so we're going to set him as even more aggressive. I've got him set now to bet and raise 4.9 times as often as he calls. So that's what this aggressiveness statistic means. It's bets and raises divided by calls. So if I set it like this, he's going to be betting and raising almost 5 times as much as he calls, which is good. We have ideal at like 3. I think 3, 4, 3 to 4 is probably ideal. So we'll set him at 4.6. And flop continuation bet. This is a very profitable thing to do, to bet the flop, the second betting round, after you've raised pre-flop, because your opponent is usually not going to connect with the flop, and you've shown strength. So by betting again, even with your weak hands, you can still win a large portion of the time. A lot of pros say to continuation bet 60% of the time. I think 60 to 70% would be better. Our AI will do it more than 60% of the time, but 60 to 70% of the time is fine. So we're making him aggressive, so we're going to have him do it 80% of the time, even too much. So there we've created that player. And now if we want to delete all of that, we can delete the player, and then we can delete the directory if we want. And we can click this and rename that directory if we want to. So I think that's, well, if you forget something, you can click on this and you can get a review of some of the things we just discussed, and you can also see these definitions again. And you can also get the definitions by mousing over. So that's really what I had for you for this Manage Players video. What I would encourage you to do is play at this table, and you can play with all cards shown, and in a short period of time you can really learn how to play good poker by watching these players all play, you and each other, at a level approaching that of a professional poker player. And then once you get to where you can beat these guys, then you can make a modest living playing online poker, if not a heck of a lot. And you'll be able to be a winner up to probably $2,000 buy-in in a card room. And that poker is a lot more fun when you can win at those kinds of stakes. Enjoy the software.